Imagine gathering the smartest people in the world, 2 Nobel Prize-winning economists, some of the world's best financial mathematicians, and a former vice chairman of the Fed. They all came together to solve the universe's financial secrets. They viewed the market as a science. They wouldn't make mistakes. They wouldn't take risks. They would eliminate risk entirely. This was a language that Wall Street neither knew nor understood. This team of geniuses founded a hedge fund called Long-Term Capital Management, LTCM. The name itself reeked of arrogance. The fund's purpose was simple: to use mathematical models to identify the price difference between two similar assets and to trade based on the absolute certainty that the difference would eventually close. This was the art of risk-free profit, known as arbitrage. So how did this hedge fund, supposedly too smart to fail, founded by the smartest men in the world, manage to go bankrupt in just 4 years, nearly dragging the entire global financial system down with it? This is the story of how human intelligence, combined with greed and extreme leverage, can bring the world to the brink of disaster. Our story begins in New York in 1994. Its founders were Nobel laureates in economics Merton and Myron Scholes, as well as the legendary bond trader John Meriwether. Meriwether assembled the best brains on Wall Street. This team was widely considered to be the most brilliant financial group ever assembled. Investors lined up at the door because these men weren't just promising to beat the market, they were offering guaranteed returns. LTCM saw themselves as scientists. Their logic was simple. If a Coca-Cola share costs $100 and a very similar Pepsi share costs $99, then, mathematically, the Pepsi share must soon rise to $100. In order to capitalize on this $1 difference, LTCM borrowed vast sums of money. This was the weapon called leverage. With only $4.7 billion of equity capital, the fund held $125 billion in bond positions. In other words, for every $1 they owned, they borrowed 25. Why were they taking such risks? Because their models told them that these small price differences would always be reconciled. Mathematics was infallible. The risks had been calculated, diversified, and eliminated. At first, everything was perfect. LTCM was the darling of Wall Street, delivering annual returns of over 40%. In 1997, Meriwether modestly stated, "We do this well." They did it so well, in fact, that they failed to notice how large the risk had grown. Their model assumed that history only operated under normal conditions. In other words, a world in which statistically impossible events would not occur. However, in 1998, a series of such events began. It started in Asia and spread to Russia. In August of that year, Russia announced that it would default on its debt. This was a so-called black swan event that shocked global financial markets. Markets panicked. Investors rushed into safe havens. All of LTCM's mathematical assumptions instantly became invalid. The Russian crisis destroyed the arbitrage trades. Investors were so panicked that the price differences opened up in the opposite direction to that which was expected. Pepsi stock fell even further below Coca-Cola's. The fund's models were unprepared for this kind of irrational behavior. They only worked in a world where people acted rationally. Assuming this anomaly would pass, LTCM continued to borrow. However, the market was not rational. It was gripped by panic. Rather than being forced to close their positions, the fund opened even larger ones using more debt. This was like throwing gasoline on the fire. Within weeks, LTCM's $4.7 billion capital had evaporated. The fund lost $550 million in one day. The next day, it lost another $500 million. Total losses quickly surpassed $4 billion. However, this was not the real catastrophe. The real catastrophe lay in the size and complexity of LTCM's positions. The fund only had $4.7 billion in capital, yet the total notional value of its market positions exceeded $1.25 trillion. This equated to around 10% of the US GDP at the time. If LTCM had failed, its positions would have been dumped onto the market for liquidation. This would have shocked every major player in the banking system, including Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Merrill Lynch, causing massive losses and freezing global credit markets. Even the then Fed chairman Alan Greenspan stated that this would pose a risk to the collapse of the entire global financial system. LTCM was just one hedge fund. Hedge funds fail all the time. But the failure of this fund would mean the failure of the entire system. This was the most terrifying real-life example of systemic risk. On 23 September 1998, recognizing the severity of the situation, the New York Federal Reserve intervened. This was an unprecedented move. The NY Fed brought the CEOs of the largest banks and investment firms on Wall Street together in one room and delivered a clear message. Either you bail out this fund or we all go down together. LTCM's rivals, who had wanted to see the fund fail, were forced to save it. The banks assembled a reluctant $3.6 billion rescue package. This was not to save LTCM but to save themselves. Thus, the bomb created by the arrogance of brilliant mathematicians was diffused in a controlled manner. Ultimately, Merton and Scholes' maths was right. The price differences did eventually converge. However, the fund collapsed so quickly that LTCM did not survive long enough to make a profit. The LTCM story delivered a simple yet painful lesson. No matter how complex the financial models, the smartest people in the world cannot factor human panic, greed, and global crisis into their equations. They lived in a rational world. But markets are governed by fear and the herd and are therefore irrational. The more leverage you use, the faster and more devastating your fall will be. This story served as a warning just 10 years before the 2008 crisis.